there, this is Ananya, and from this video onward, we will be starting off with Pygame. Now, Pygame helps you most importantly in building your own video games with various sound effects and graphics to make it way interesting beyond imagination. So today we will be building this pretty interesting animation that you see out here with snowfall falling and a pretty background picture. And this is just to hit it off with Pygame with simple but very interesting stuff going on. So stay tuned till the end. Let's get started. A few very important points. That is, you have to pip install Pygame. That is, since it is cross-platform, it's absolutely necessary. Now, random, why are we importing that? I'll come to it pretty soon. Now, just like Kinter, we also have to initialize the Pygame engine. And for the colors that you'll be using the RGB color scheme, you can give it various shades. So black has a 000 and white has a 22255. Next, I only need black and white currently because I have the snow, which is white, and the black background, I'll be setting it behind my picture. Now let us set the width and the height of the screen. Again, it's pretty similar to Kinter, right? You can find various similarities. So the size, I set it to 400 by 400. You can set it for anything you want. Now let us load the actual picture that we want as our background. You can also have any color of your choice. If you don't want a picture, I'll also be showing that. Now in a variable, you load it saying pygame.image.load, and to that you pass the name of your image. Now in case if it's not in the same directory as your program, then you just provide the path to it. Next, we give the screen, okay? So this inside the screen variable, we set the size of the screen. And remember, in an, or not an array, in a list, we declared the size, that is 400 by 400. So we pass it to the set mode function. Next, we're going to just give a caption. Now, remember, we used to give titles in Kinter. Similarly, we set the caption here, that is no animation. Well, this is pretty simple. Now, let's actually come to making the snow fall. Okay, that's the most important and interesting part. Since we're dealing with Pygame, we need some animation, right? So we have snow list here, and it's an empty list created. And inside a for loop, you can range, to any number you want. We declare the x and y coordinates, okay? We rather define it using random.randRange. Now you understand why we needed to import random. So we will create let's say random x and y coordinates ranging from 0 to 400, and we shall append that. Okay, we'll form it into a list and append it to the snow list. So basically, we have a list inside list. See how your basic concepts are really important and crucial at this stage? So if you know these, you can go way beyond using all of these libraries. You can get complicated as much as you want. Now, again, I'm going to leave out clock for the time being. Now, just like in Kinter, we had a cross button on our window. You have the same thing in the case of Pygame. So in a variable done, okay, I click or rather say make it false. So while not done, so while it is true, then for event in pygame.event.get. Now what does this do? The cross button up there, whenever you click it, that is the user did something on the screen. It'll catch that event, and if it is equal to quit, so the cross button on the top right actually gives you quit and sets done to true. And obviously then you come out of the loop, right? Because it's while not done. And that's the end of it. So while not true becomes while false. So obviously it'll come out. Again, if you can see how basic concepts are very crucial. Now let's come to filling the screen. As I said, you can fill it with any color you want using screen.fill and the name of the color. Next, since I want an image, I say screen.blit. What this does is simply draws the image onto the screen at a specific position. Now, since we want it from, or rather say not from, the entire screen, it should cover the entire screen, I'm going to go from top left. Okay, so 0, 0. Start at the bare minimum position. And first parameter will obviously be the image into which you saved the path, okay, BG, where we loaded it. This being done, our snow coordinates are ready. Now let's make it move. Let's make it fall. So I'm going to give a shape to it. Now obviously I'm going to select circle. So for eye and range, the length of the snow list, obviously, right? That's obvious. Now pygame.draw circle. The first parameter, just like we had root, you will have screen here. The color of the snow, and next the position you want it in. That is snow list of I. Which coordinate, x and y, that gets placed into this. And 4 is basically your radius, okay? You can increase it, decrease it accordingly. Don't make it too big, otherwise it doesn't look that good. And now that you have the shape and you have the position, you want it to move down, and this line does the magic for you. You increment the y position. See, it is I, but it is 1 here. Why? Because you have the yth position needed to be increasing. Okay. So you have y position being incremented by 1 each time for each snowflake. Now, what if the snowflake has reached the bottom of the screen? You want it to keep repeating and looping inside, right? So you give some random number for y. Now, why are we choosing why negative numbers? Because you wanted to again restart at some point above the screen where it is not visible. So you just give some random negative numbers. Anything will do, as long as you cannot see it. And next you append that, or rather say overwrite that to the snow list in the y position. And similarly, x, anything will do. You don't have to have it to be negative. And you similarly append that to the x position, right? So 1 and 0, x and then 1. This being done, we have done the movement, and now it's time to update the screen every single time. So you have pygame.display.flip. Okay, this is very important. Otherwise, you're just going to have a blank black screen sitting in front of you. You're not going to get all that beauty happening. And now let's come to clock. What does clock do? So inside a variable, or rather say an object clock, we called the clock class. Okay, so pygame.time.clock gets stored inside clock. Using that, you can apply various rather say time frames that you want. So I have given here 150, which basically denotes the speed at which the snowfall will be occurring. So this is your FPS, frames per second basically, and you can vary it 60, 150, 600, anything you want depending on how fast or slow you want the snow to fall. And just like we used to have let's not compare it with Kinter this time, but you have pygame.quit, which is extremely necessary since you have to close it at some point, right? Rather than keep it moving on and on. And that's basically it. You just made your first Pygame animation. You put some picture, you made some animation, and you made it pretty. So let's run this and see the beauty that we just created. And there you go, ta-da! It's pretty nice, right? You have this pretty amazing picture in the background. You can create anything of your choice. Only make sure that it is of the same size as your screen. Ours is 400 by 400, so your picture needs to be of the same size. Just use some online resizing website that you get, and your task will be good to go. And you have your snowflakes falling. You can make them bigger, smaller, change the speed, everything. So I really hope you all enjoyed this. I'll come up with new Pygame stuff pretty soon. Till then, stay tuned. Bye-bye.